Did you know that in Major League Baseball, you can be traded for yourself?
No.
This is unimportant.
Guaranteed to not change your life. This is the Unimportant Podcast.
Welcome to the Unimportant Podcast. My name is Joe Bob. That is Anthony. Today, this episode is not about Liechtenstein. I don't think there's any Liechtenstein facts that come up in this. No. It sounds like a Major League Baseball issue, which is strictly an American thing, minus the Canadian team. But yeah, no Liechtenstein.
Is there still a Canadian team?
Yeah, the Toronto Blue Jays.
Oh, I forgot.
It used to be the Montreal Expos and the Toronto Blue Jays, and now it's just the key Expos. Sorry, Blue Jays.
What are people from Toronto called?
Torontoites.
Which I thought they were Torontoans.
Is another potential for what Liechtensteinites can be called.
Torontoanese.
I don't know. Just go. What are you talking about?
So this guy named Harry Chiti.
Okay.
Chiti, which is Chiti. It's kind of a tough one to say.
Cool.
He was a catcher back in like the 1950s and 60s. He was originally drafted by the Cubs. Mm-hmm. Kind of bounced around in their minor league team for a while. Spends 10 years kind of going up and down from the majors to minors, playing on a bunch of different teams.
As lots of players do.
Eventually winds up with the Indians.
Okay.
But
what?
Before he can ever even play a game with the Indians, he's traded to the Mets on April 25th, 1962 for a player to be named later. June 15th, 1962.
How do you make that trade as a general manager? Hey, you trade me your guy, and then I'll give you a guy sometime.
Baseball is weird.
Yeah, I can imagine. But can you imagine like calling up the Golden State Warriors and being like, "Hey, give me Kevin Durant. I'll tell you who I'm going to give you after he's already here."
My guess is this guy wasn't all that good.
Okay.
Because on June 15th, 1962,
which is how many? It's
only 15 games later.
Okay.
And a 195 batting average.
Uh-huh.
The Mets send this guy back to the Indians saying, this is the guy we decided to trade for later. Harry Chiti became the first guy in MLB history to be traded for himself.
Wow.
What you may not believe is that 3 more guys since then have been traded for themselves.
Really? Is this can this be like a contractual maneuver? Can they do that? Like, so imagine like,
I don't know.
There's a contract dispute between a player and a team, and they end up getting quote unquote traded.
Yeah.
And then they reach a deal with a new team, and then that team trades them back for themselves so that the original team might be able to lower the salary.
Maybe.
I'm just curious. But that's not the case in any of these. They've just been traded for
somebody later. We'll pick somebody later, and then they get sent back.
That's incredible. I would never trade somebody for a rando that I didn't know.
If he wasn't very good and it was costing you a bunch of money, like.
Well, are there people that are not very good at costing you a bunch of money?
It's actually kind of a great move for both teams, because if the guy's salary is way too high and you can't afford him on a salary cap, say, hey, I'm just going to send him to you. You send me somebody later. If he's good, we'll agree on somebody good. If he's bad, send me whoever. And if he sucks, send him back, and I don't have to pay his salary during the time.
I wonder if there's like a minimum, like you're going to send me a player that is of this caliber or in this salary range or this position, which would make sense, and that guy fit the position.
Apparently 4 people in history have officially been traded for themselves.
So he was the first one, he said in the 60s?
1962. So
it's from 62 till now, there's been 3 other people that have been traded for themselves.
Yep.
Wow. And when's the most recent one?
I have no idea. I did not do that much research. Probably because this is unimportant.
Thanks for tuning into this episode of the podcast. If you want to make a difference and change the world, probably listen to something else.